First Minister has confirmed plans for a council tax freeze announced at the SNP conference will be fully funded by the Scottish Government. But council body COSLA say they were not warned about the freeze in advance. Now, council tax generates about 13% of local government funding. Most of it comes from the Scottish Government. For the past 2 years, councils had powers to set their own rates, with most areas seeing rises of between 4% and 7%, although Orkney set theirs at 10%. But many have already faced difficult spending decisions in order to balance their budgets. Here's MacLennan.
In the Highlands, the local authority is facing a budget gap of £50 million this year, with council tax making up 20% of the authority's overall income. Work to address that gap is underway that could see 500 posts being lost to save £15 million. But the First Minister's freeze of council tax levels is causing concern and has only complicated things further.
This should be left to councils to decide. We're best placed to decide how the money is allocated, but so we're also best placed to decide how we raise that money in the first place. And I think it's a very difficult situation for us to be placed in with no notice whatsoever.
Council tax helps pay for local services like rubbish collection, roads and street lighting. It also funds other things like leisure centres and libraries. But it's these facilities that could be impacted if savings have to be made.
It should be better for, again, with the bulk of people, again, freezing the services, especially with the cost of living nowadays.
They've got to do something to try and encourage people to vote for them. But this isn't the way ahead.
I think we have to, to pay a little bit towards it, because if not, we'll struggle again. I think they did struggle the last time, and I think they regretted that they freezed it. I think you better keep regularly paying something towards our local amenities.
In Orkney, the Islands Council rose council tax by 10% last year to protect vital services.
Well, council taxpayers might think this is good news, and I can see why they would. But what, in my view, this does is puts off the inevitable and puts greater financial pressure on the coming years and prevents us from doing it in a managed, sustained way.
Council body COSLA says it was not aware of the announcement and there is no agreement in place to freeze council tax.
We, as an organisation, represent all 32 local authorities, and we are all signed up cross-party to our statement at the very heart of the agreement, which says local by default, national by agreement.
As autumn turns to winter, the council tax freeze hasn't perhaps had the warm reception the First Minister had hoped for. MacLennan, reporting Scotland, Inverness.